Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm working on this Yard Machines Edger. It's got a 3.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine on it. It's been sitting for a while, so I want to check the spark plug, take out all the old fuel, clean the carburetor, check the air filter, check the oil, make sure that's all good. We'll get it running again. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is disconnect the wire to the spark plug and remove that. And I already pre-loosened that. Oh man, look at that. I don't know if you can pick that up. But there's actually gunk where the spark plug gap is supposed to be. So that definitely needs replaced. And I have a decent one sitting around. I cleaned this up, so this should work until I can get a new one for it. So I'll go ahead and gently thread that in and then tighten it down, and then we'll get started on the carburetor. And I'm going to leave that disconnected for the time being, just so it doesn't have any kind of way of starting. Alright, so to get down to the carburetor and take off the fuel tank, I went ahead and loosened this flathead bolt. That way you can go ahead and remove the air filter. And that looks kind of dirty, so we're going to take that apart, clean the exterior of this, that way there's no chance of the debris getting back down into the carburetor itself. And as you can see, just a little bit dirty. It's not too bad. You can try soap and water to clean this, or you can go buy a new one. They're only a few dollars. And we'll take the rag on the inside of the air filter cover here and make sure that's all nice and clean. To work on the carb and get the tank off, we're going to remove one bolt here and one bolt back here. And once we pull that out, keep a hand under the fuel tank, and we're going to gently pull this off so the vent tube disconnects. And there's another tube back here that connects, and then we'll remove the governor linkage right here. That step's not very hard. It's difficult to do with one hand. You just kind of dip it, twist a little, and it disconnects. Comes right off. Next, we'll remove the 5 screws, Phillips screws that are all the way around the carburetor. Then we can take the carburetor off. And if there's fuel in it, take the cap off, find a container, and dump that old fuel in there. Whoa! So yeah, that's some pretty potent stuff there. Smells like varnish. So yeah, I'm going to dump that old fuel out. I loosened the 5 screws, so now we can go ahead and take off the carb. And it's kind of difficult to pick up on camera here, but there's some debris down at the bottom. Clean that out with some carb cleaner. Make sure the ports over here are clean, that way the fuel's flowing properly. Alright, now we're inspecting the carburetor. And it's not that it looks dirty down inside. It actually looks fairly clean. You know, look, I pulled the screen off, I just put it back on. The screen's not bad either. I'm going to run something small through the main jet down through here, but that looks clean. My concern is the gasket here. Look how it's like kind of, I don't know, dead. This is supposed to flex, and it's not flexing that well. And it also, on the side here, looks to be pinched, and that might be why, well, I don't know, I didn't have it running yet, but that might be a reason why it wouldn't run correctly. So I went out and got a new kit a while. This is the Briggs & Stratton's, good through 3 through 5 horsepower. And I measured the gaskets and everything lines up. This is what I want. Okay, now we're going to put the new gasket together. This is the flimsy one. We're going to put that down first, and then we'll grab what I call it's a little more sturdy. And that's going to go right down on top here and match the holes up. I know it doesn't look good now, but I'm doing it with one hand. We'll put the new screen on, and then the new spring that came in the pack, and then we'll flip this over and put it down in here and tighten the 5 screws. And before you set your screws, you want to look down in the holes and make sure none of the gaskets are offset so you have no issues. When you're done doing that, you can go ahead and tighten the 5 screws down. Next, we'll line the hole up from the choke butterfly with the governor linkage, reattach that, and then slide the whole assembly back onto these 2 holes here. Alright, once that's back in place, you can go ahead and grab your bolts, tighten one down here, and the second one over here. Next, we'll reinstall our air filter, and if you use the soapy water method, Just make sure you give it enough time to dry so you don't put it back in there. You don't want water mixing with your fuel. Alright, once the top's tightened down, we'll tighten down the spark plug and then reattach our wire. Add some fresh fuel. And then we'll take a peek at the oil. I forgot all about that. Alright, it's right in the zone. Yeah, it doesn't look too terrible. Doesn't mean it should be changed though, but I think just to start it today and run it for a little bit, this will be just fine. Always, hopefully this video was helpful. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a good day, YouTubers.